episode number 30. Welcome to Beers and a Lot, everybody. This episode was really fun to make. So unfortunate we couldn't include everything. Got to take a quick second to mention that one of our Patreon benefits is that you get to listen in live while we're recording, and there is no editing. So if you want to hear us live and uncut, that is an option if you're on the bonus content tier. But what did make it in this episode was our chats about the NWHL coming back, which we're excited for. We caught wind from the Twitter that ESPN and the NHL might be nearing a TV deal, and who knows what that could bring along with it. And we jumped into some hockey nicknames, one that's come up lately, and a story from days gone by. Let's get to it. It's episode 30.
Let's crack some beers.
Yes. Aaron, since we are not drinking out of a glass, what are you drinking this evening?
It's always got to be about... You're glassist. You know that? It's always with glasses. I've got another Maui Brewing Company. I went back to that well. I have a bikini blonde, same as a few weeks ago, but still going through them.
Nice.
Yeah, they're good. What are you drinking, John?
So I actually found two of my holiday beers that somehow got lost in the fridge, but I'm very grateful. The Trogs Mad Elf Ale. They only brew it once a year, right around Christmas time. And I believe we said this on the pod. It tastes like Christmas in a can. And also it's about 12%. So you can't go wrong with
Sometimes.
it. Exactly. Eric, what do you have this evening?
I have from Three Floyds Brewing, which is now distributing in Maryland again. They weren't before, but they are now, which is awesome because they make awesome beers. Zombie Dust.
Ooh.
Great pale. One of the few beers I had it before. It's one of the few beers that I rated 5 out of 5 on the Untapped app. It's awesome.
And awesome can art too.
Oh yeah, man. Zombie Dust. It has like this zombie like king guy looking on it. It's great. They like collaborate with folks in the comic industry. So they have
That's
awesome
pretty cool.
art. Yeah. And Daniel has a
I'm drinking a Evil Genius #adulting guava IPA. Probably top 10 beers. Like, it's so delicious. I love this beer. I actually had it on tap before. Amazing on tap.
everything's better on draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or on nitro, depending
that
on where
would-
you go.
Yeah, that would be on draft, but yes.
Exactly, I
Nitro.
know. Some things are better on nitro. I'm just clarifying.
No,
Some
that's
things are better
definitely
on
true.
nitro.
Like,
Yeah.
especially like, you know, a tradition is Bloodline Nitro from Flying Dog. I've had Flying Dog's The Truth on Nitro, which is
Oh.
dangerous. Yeah, man.
As good
Makes
as
it
Bloodline?
Yeah,
Ooh.
makes it smooth. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not an IPA guy at all. This has been well talked about on this podcast, but Bloodline Nitros, I will drink those all day. They're good.
Because the nitrogen, like, I don't understand the chemical reactions or anything, but it like it cuts the harshness. I
It
think,
sure seems to.
hmm
It certainly makes them palatable to me.
Yeah.
Good beer.
All right.
Good beer.
Good talk.
Good
All right,
talk.
catch you,
Good beer.
catch you ins later.
Hi, guys.
And that's episode 30. So some big news came out about the NWHL. They're going to actually resume their playoff and have the playoff weekend in Boston coming up towards the end of this month. That's exciting. I actually talked to somebody in the NWHL Discord, somebody who represents NWHL. They said that the games will be on both NBC and on Twitch, so you can watch on either platform. And I will certainly be watching on Twitch. I'll probably tune in maybe on NBC if I can, but Twitch is definitely my preferred platform of choice. I love watching it with the chat. I think that's really fun, especially since the NWHL chats have this very profound affinity for the Zamboni driver from Lake Placid,
Hmm.
who is, wouldn't you know, named Aaron. And as a former Zamboni driver named Aaron, I thought it was a trip watching the streams and everybody just feigning over this Aaron Zamboni driver. But and the
great.
hockey is pretty awesome.
That's great. That
You
should
did
be
cut-
good.
Yeah, you did cut a good sheet of ice though. So
Well, you know, I had some practice back in the day. It's been a while.
Well, yeah, the good thing about the NWHL, even though unfortunately they had to cut the playoff short at the time, they've done a really good job of staying active in the Twitterverse and social media, still engaging with fans. The players are still engaging fans. They're raising awareness. They're doing a good job of not only keeping the fan base that they attracted due to everything, but I think also growing it. I know they've opened up the Twitch chat forum a few times, you know, just to have it going, just something to do. I mean, we're still in pandemic times, if you will, so you can't do everything you want to do. So it's nice you get a little break from that and kind of enjoy some hockey talk.
you could say who's in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'll need a new team.
Yeah,
Yeah, John needs
Riveters
a
are
new
out.
team. It is the 1v4 matchup at 5 p.m. on March 26th is Toronto 6 and Boston Pride, and the 2v3 matchup at 8 p.m. I think on that Friday, March 26th, is the Minnesota Whitecaps and the Connecticut Whale.
I'm jumping on the 6 train.
Yeah,
The Drake. Let's go.
Yeah.
I'll get on that 6
Yeah.
train.
Yeah, get on the 6
Yes.
train.
Yes.
What? No.
If the Buttes are going to be out, then I'm going to go for the 6.
Yeah.
Gotta root for the 6.
Yes.
You know what?
T-Dot.
Me versus everybody.
Yeah. You versus everybody. Minnesota Whitecaps versus everybody.
Minnesota
Yeah.
roots. They're
Yeah. Daniel.
No, I knew a guy who lived in Minnesota.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
just for a year.
I really like the 6 head coach and president, Digit Murphy. Like, she's been awesome on social media. Like, some of the videos and stuff that they do with her are just hilarious. And then the energy around the club and the team it definitely comes from her. And it showed up in the games, I think, back in Lake Placid. So I'm still on that bandwagon. And also, I think it would be awesome if another Toronto sports team won a championship before the Leafs.
That
Yeah.
would be funny.
Yeah, you're right.
Even though, like, I root for the Leafs, I think it would be hilarious.
I kind of what you and I were talking about, and we do wish the Leafs like nothing but the best in the playoffs. We're really heavy on the we're drinking the Blue Jays Kool-Aid this
Yeah,
MLB
man.
season.
Yeah.
So I really almost hope that the Blue Jays win. So now the Leafs are almost like left out and there's no parade. So they, Kyle Dubas and all those guys are going to be sweating.
So you're
Just
saying that we
sweating
are
buckets.
6 fans, Raptor fans, and Blue Jay fans first, and then if the Leafs win, okay, sure.
Well, no, I think the
That's
world will
kinda how it
react
sounds.
differently than how we're arranging it. I think if the Leafs win, it's pandemonium.
Oh, yeah.
That city's burning down for the right reason. It's like, it's not.
That city's burning something, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Hey.
Aw.
Everything I've heard about Toronto.
Yeah, I think I could tell this story. This story's okay. It's not about hockey. It's about baseball. It's
Doesn't
actually
matter.
about the Blue Jays. When we were up there, went to a Blue Jays game, and my son was 8 at the time, maybe 9. Go to the Blue Jays game, and we stayed downtown. So my wife, my son, and I were walking back from the stadium back to the hotel, and Blue Jays, they won. They had played the Yankees, so the atmosphere was awesome. Everybody's all crazy in the streets and stuff. We're walking back, and clearly someone was enjoying
A different kind of leaf than tobacco.
a product that you can enjoy in Canada legally that you can't necessarily in all states in America.
The devil's lettuce.
And so we're walking back, and my son is like, it smells like someone is burning bacon. And my wife is like, yes, that's exactly what's happening. Keep walking.
Keep walking and breathe shallow.
Anyway, yeah. Go Blue Jays. Go Six. Go Leafs.
Go legalization federally.
Oh, man.
The other big news that we just heard about, actually, ESPN getting a 7-year deal with the NHL. So
Yeah.
we all knew that the NBC deal was about to be up at the end of the season. So that's a big deal that NHL has something lined up to take over the broadcast afterwards. And we figured that they did. It's just a question of when the announcement was coming. I mean, you can't get to the end of a TV deal and be an organization like the NHL and not have something lined up. So
Yeah. Well, just to caveat it, I first saw it on Twitter from Chris Johnston, who's one of the Sportsnet guys up in Canada, and it's not officially done, but if he's saying that he's hearing it's done, it's probably done.
Right.
But the other key to that is it sounds like it's only part of the broadcast rights, which I find very interesting. So obviously ESPN, biggest sports reporting platform in the world, they just had something that they were boasting about today, that their mobile apps are like the number one, sports apps all over the world. Includes everything, even, I mean, we all know that soccer or football is so popular worldwide and everything. Like the ESPN app is still supplanting anything that anyone's doing in that world from a mobile app standpoint. So obviously it's a huge deal for anyone to get a broadcast rights deal, an exclusive one with ESPN.
definitely.
So
Well, then the one thing I saw too, and like you said, Eric, it's not officially finalized because a deal roughly is 7 to 8 years. They would have exclusive rights of 4 Stanley Cups.
only 4, right?
Only 4. So that's kind of interesting because is it something where it's like the Super Bowl type stuff where they switch back and forth, depending on the year of certain
Right.
games? And then even in the playoffs, is it something where the Eastern Conference is on one network for the conference finals, for example, Western's on another network, because they usually, when it gets to the conference finals times, they alternate nights. The one thing that is kind of interesting, there's all this talk about lost revenue and whatnot. ESPN, strong chance. We haven't seen a dollar figure, and we're speculating clearly, and we're not that deep inside. We just kind of peruse other people online and regurgitate a lot of stuff, obviously. But
yeah, if you're
Don't
getting
give
your
up-
news from us, then
exactly,
Don't give away the secrets, John.
Yeah,
Holy
I would
shit.
I would imagine ESPN paid a really big chunk of money for this. I think it makes sense for ESPN too, because they have UFC and have done very successful with that. And they have part of the NFL deal. I don't remember, is it Sunday night or Monday Night Football? One of the two. I can't remember. They have one of those.
I don't remember. I
and
don't
they
watch
still
anymore.
And they still do Sunday night MLB games. And
Think
it's
they
always
still-
the really good MLB games too.
Yeah, I think they have Spike Ball and the Ocho.
Okay, yeah.
So
Well, they
I
they
have
a
seen that at
hu-
B-dubs.
They're heavily invested in the NBA. Like they
Yeah,
they
that's very
promote
true,
the
yeah.
NBA like crazy, and I would have to think that they're going to spend a ton of money on the NHL, and they're going to kind of do the same, promotion and get the same coverage on a weekly, nightly basis for the NHL. The dollar figure is going to be interesting just because it is. I mean, it doesn't affect anybody really, but NBC, I think I read today, was paying like $200 million a year to broadcast across.
doesn't seem like much, honestly.
all their properties. So right, it doesn't seem like much, but if you think about it, it's $200 million a year for so many,
Right.
however many years they had the deal.
And that includes
So-
Cup. That includes Cup too.
Right.
That's
So
the biggest thing.
that it also gives you an idea of the amount of money that's involved right? Like they can pay that and then turn around and ask, Honda and Enterprise and like all these guys that advertise relentlessly during the Stanley Cup playoffs for money. They're doing okay. And it sounds like they're out, maybe. But again, like that ESPN deal, the rumor is it's only like half of the broadcast rights. So what happens to the other half? And I think you can go back, and we've talked about this before. I think you can go back to the Twitch deal with NWHL. Is there something in a streaming platform deal that's in the works for the NHL? And does
God,
it make
I hope
sense,
so.
right? Like,
That's been my biggest beef with the NHL and with NBC for so long. Is the streaming options are so limited. Yeah, you knew if you said streaming, then you were going to
I knew I would trigger Aaron.
Well,
Yeah.
I have my own, and I've said this openly for a billion years, and we can go off on another tangent outside of Aaron's. Just besides like local games and whatnot, I have a massive issue because when NHL Network first launched years and years ago, in the summer, I could watch the 1965 Stanley Cup Finals or, the 91 Cup Finals or the 92 or, 83. I loved watching those old playoff games.
Catalog,
they're big, vintage, like the 67 Cup Finals.
But they have that. They have that on the NHL TV.
But it's only 10 minutes of the game, or like it's a few.
You can watch whole games on there.
But it's not the complete catalog. I can't go from, let's say,
you want
67 all the way up.
You want who's good at that? The WWE, Vince McMahon.
Well, yeah, their app is spectacular.
His thing. No, if his service, their streaming service, has the entire back catalog of all the matches, all the WrestleManias,
you can go
the pay-per-view events.
You can go watch the Montreal Screwjob,
all the Saturday night main event broadcasts, like all that stuff is on that WWE app on whatever device you're using. So that's what you want, but you want it for the NHL.
Correct. I want Vince McMahon to actually get a hockey franchise like he planned 2 years ago, and just do the vintage stuff.
So I don't care about that.
XF NHL. XHL.
Yeah. I don't care about that.
Extreme Federation of National Hockey League.
That back catalog stuff. Like, who cares?
Yeah,
whatever.
That's me. That's my gripe.
What I care about is if someone wants to stream a game, let them stream it on whatever service and let them stream the actual feed. So if you're giving them the home feed, they have the home feed and all the ads and everything comes up or whatever. Don't do the stupid commercial break thing that they do on NHL TV now, whatever. Do the same thing for away feed and do it for every single team if you're paying for the streaming service. What it should be is access to any and all of the NHL team's broadcasts on any given night.
If I'm paying for it, I should be able to check a box that says I want to watch commercials or not. Like, showing me that stupid screen of the game will resume shortly, or those idiots making the ice for a million years. I'm sick of it. I don't want to see that.
Do you remember,
it's
Eric?
So boring. It's
Eric,
so
before one
annoying.
game, you and I had a conversation about this. I will never forget, because on a Saturday night, him and I were drinking and hanging out, and we were talking because that happened. And I said, the NHL is missing a golden opportunity. They could literally sell this space to local markets and go, hey, anyone watching the NHL app in this, time will get your commercial 100 times, let's just say. Better than that screen. And it was a screen of just it was just a net. And then now they switched it to the ice being made. Now they have top 10 plays and this other correct
bullshit.
Yeah.
Who cares? You're showing me the same friggin' saves and goals and slow-mo replays and hits over and over again. I don't care.
Yeah.
I would rather, when I first signed up for the NHL package, the streaming package, before it was called NHL TV, they would if you were watching like Canadian broadcast or whatever, you're watching Edmonton, home feed, you would get the straight feed. You would get
Yes.
whatever they showed in intermission. You'd get all the commercials locally, which was I found that entertaining because you kind of learned about some of the culture. I think like it was kind of cool. Like,
So if you're watching the Pittsburgh feed, you want the Moon Township.
yeah,
Or tell them Ray.
but that would come up, right?
Exactly.
You want to watch, and you want to watch the Edgar Snyder commercials because in the event you're in Pittsburgh and you get in an accident, you need to know who to call.
I need to know that number.
It's really important.
Right. I need
and
to know.
As someone whose family's from there, I have grown up knowing Edgar Snyder my entire life. Like I know, yeah.
But there was that, and then like John said, like. And then Aaron was enraged about putting up the generic stuff doesn't make sense for two reasons. One, it drives me insane watching the same thing over and over again, every commercial break, every intermission, whatever. And then two, like you couldn't sell that space to somebody.
Yeah, seriously.
Like you could. Come on.
Even if it's not video ads, put up something static where it's like just some text,
right?
Something different. Anything different.
Like when you go in the movie theater and they have like
it's
they
like
have the slideshow going on.
Thing.
Like,
anything at all would be better. And honestly, it's not difficult to like make the interface so you could choose. Like some people might like watching the ice being made for hours on end, endless. Maybe they do. Maybe they do.
With all the information that they're gathering from everyone from social media and everything, they could definitely target you.
Yes.
Like,
but also let me choose to say, okay, I want to see the ice being made, or let me see the slideshow of random whatever info, or fucking cut to another game. Holy shit, just play another game that's on.
Yeah.
Actually,
and
you know what?
Let me cut back. Like,
you know what?
It's funny we're so wasted.
It's funny we're mentioning this now. It literally just clicked. Hulu and Disney and ESPN are all under one entity.
Yeah, I have
Sidney Crosby.
bundle.
Yeah, I do too. Sidney Crosby was doing.
Going to renew a Disney princess?
No, it could be. Latang would be a better Disney princess. He has better hair.
Be a better Disney
he has better hair.
The hair.
Remember last year, maybe around this time, Sidney Crosby started doing Hulu has live sports commercials, and they were just atrocious.
Yes.
Maybe this was them planting that seed because Amazon has the NFL deal on Thursday nights. They broadcast on Prime that.
Yeah.
Maybe this is, maybe Hulu will be part of this ESPN package where once a week they'll get a Hulu game of the week for something like that. Just thinking.
Yeah, I think it's bigger than that though. I think.
Yeah.
I think there's
definitely, but
I think there's a bigger like streaming deal coming for the NHL.
I really hope it's the NHL coming up with their own streaming service or streaming whatever, akin to NHL TV, where you can get all the games. Because that's been the problem, is that you'd subscribe to NHL TV and you'd get blacked out for like half the games of the team you want to see. And then the playoffs come and you can't see anything. It's like, what am I even paying for?
It's like baseball too. Like they have a huge problem with the regional broadcast agreements.
Right. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's what's changing, is that maybe they're able to utilize those.
I love MLB because you can sign up for the MLB package and you could pick team specific. So because the Pirates are on it, they're never on a national game. So I get to watch a ton of Pirates games every year.
You don't live in Pittsburgh. You don't live in Pittsburgh.
And they're never on Sunday Night Baseball. If I lived in the market,
Orioles,
you would never be able to do that. So you could never cut the cord in Pittsburgh. That's the problem.
Funny you mentioned
the problem.
Yeah, funny, Aaron. You mentioned Baltimore Orioles because ESPN's back. I want John Levy, John Butchergrass, and I want Gary Thorne.
I want Gary Thorne on the call on the main games.
Yeah.
on the whatever they do, whatever their big night is. It'll probably be Sunday or Wednesday night because it seems to be the thing for American hockey broadcasts. Gary Thorne.
You like Sportsnet's broadcast on Saturday nights anyway.
Well,
Don't
yeah,
touch that.
I watch.
Yeah.
I'll.
I watch Sportsnet.
I go to great lengths, from a technical standpoint, to get Hockey Night in Canada.
Yeah, we want HNIC. We want to see Elliot Friedman in a turtleneck every week. That's what we want.
So the funny thing about the ESPN deal, the first thing I thought about was, are they going to bring back like the Sports Center commercials with the hockey players
Oh yeah.
and the
I
Hockey
hope so.
Falls?
Hockey Falls! Oh my gosh!
Yes. Yes.
I
All right,
hope
That is what
all
I
right,
thought about.
So can you?
I was like,
so
I
really
hope
quick.
that comes
Oh
back.
man.
All right, so I know mine off the top of my head. Can you name very quickly, like, do 10 seconds of your favorite Hockey Falls commercial? Do you remember your favorite one off the top of your head?
Clement, hands of cement.
Yeah,
That's
probably
when
my
they were
favorite,
picking the
yeah.
team, because the one guy, they go, that's my favorite one too, Aaron, funny you mentioned, because they're picking teams for the little ball hockey, and he goes, well, you could pick Melrose, and the guy turns to him and he
Melrose
goes,
still thinks he's coaching.
and this is my team. And then he goes, well,
This
what
is
about
my
Es-
team.
Yeah, what about Espo? Espo's 100 years old. What I want him. And then they bring up Clement, and then he's like, oh, fine, Espo, come here, and they just yell at each other. My favorite one, he had this mason jar filled with dirty
Yeah.
water, and
Mhm.
and he goes like, this is ice from the last Boston Cup when Bobby Orr scored. His mom opens the mason jar when he leaves, smells it, it's disgusting, and dumps it out.
Yeah.
That's
And
my
then there's
favorite one.
There's the jacket where it has like all
Oh,
the
I had all the
signatures.
autographs.
He gets they're
In the
they're in the
diner,
they
restaurant and they
spill
spill
blood.
on it, and then she wipes it off or whatever.
Oh, here,
Yeah.
let me get that. Let me
Yeah.
get that for you. Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
The other one,
Amazing. They need to bring those back.
the other
Gotta
one,
bring
the
this
other
back.
one was pretty good. Is the one guy, his mom comes in the kitchen and it's him and the two guys sitting there, and she says something like, "Why are you home?" He goes, "Oh, well, I've decided to quit my job. I'm going pro." And she goes, "Pro? How are you going pro?" And she goes, "Oh, this guy's my agent." And she goes, "Well, if he's your agent, I'm a rocket scientist." Mom leaves the room. The guy turns to the other guy and goes, "I thought your mom was a teacher." Like, totally, like they're 100% serious.
So who's still there at ESPN? Who's covering hockey?
Butchergross.
Linda Cohen was doing that show last year with Butchergross.
And then online they have Wyshynski and Kaplan, but that's pretty much it.
They're probably gonna have to hire.
They're gonna have to hire a bunch of people. I mean, we're kind of in broadcasting.
It's true.
Rigsby, you make a really good point.
DMs are open.
The TSN guys, they have those bar down guys.
Hey.
You know, we're here. We're not willing to relocate to Bristow, though. We'll stay here.
I don't know.
We'll do whatever they need.
I might be willing to relocate for a hockey job.
Yeah, Connecticut.
ODRs.
Close to the water. I don't know.
Yeah.
What if they threw in a boat named Orca, Rigsby? You'd be on
it.
In. We lost all our negotiating power just then. They're just going to give us a rickety old boat.
Just one
Orca.
old boat.
Everybody
Like
loves
boats.
boats, bro.
So a little bit off topic here, but I was on the Penguins subreddit the other day, and Kasperi Kapanen's nickname on there is Cheeks Klapanen.
Cheeks clapping it.
So do you
it's
think
good.
because like the Caps have goal songs, when Kapanen scores now, they can play "Let's Make It Clap"? Like they just play that? Do you think that'd be good?
Oh, that's
Play that? That's a stellar
Oh my
nickname. I'm actually really bent. I didn't think of that.
That is a great hockey nickname.
If anybody would have thought of that would have been you, John.
Yeah. Cheeks.
Definitely.
I wish I would have, but I
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, John Walker doesn't do subreddit or
Yeah.
no, he doesn't do Reddit. Yeah.
I barely do Twitter. I mean, what makes you think I'm going to do Reddit? But that actually, so funny you kind of mentioned that. Like, that's two things. One, that's an awesome nickname for anybody.
Yes.
What are some really good hockey nicknames you've either heard in the locker room or heard secondhand?
We've made up so many over the years.
I know. So I remember Rigsby and I played on a summer league team with this guy who was insane. We called him Bozo because he was a clown.
Oh yeah, Bozo.
He called him Bozo.
Yeah, that guy.
He was certified. Yeah, he was a nut job.
He was absolutely insane.
Yeah,
you shouldn't throw these words around lightly, but that guy was insane. Like
Correct.
He was crazy. And then he's one of these guys that, you play with them and stuff goes on when they're on the ice, and then they come back to the bench and they've seen a completely different game than what
just transpired
happened. Like what actually happened in reality. They've seen a completely different game. So they come back to the bench and they're like, oh man, like I was, defending a 2-on-1 and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, no, you literally stood still and let somebody like walk you and go in on a breakaway. Like it wasn't a 2-on-1, like
or
whatever.
2-on-1 off the face off in the offensive zone when you're there.
Yeah.
By the time it got to the blue line, it was a 2-on-0. Like, what are you talking about at 2-on-1?
And a guy like when we would hang out in the parking lot afterwards, when we were having beers in the lot, he would he was weird out there too. Like, how some people are
he's a weird cat.
They're weird like on the ice or when they're playing hockey or whatever, and then you go outside and they're kind of like normal. He was as weird, if not weirder, off the ice. Just saying, like, we're all standing around talking and telling stories and stuff, and then he would start talking about, like, I don't know, like going to the aquarium or like whatever. We're talking about hockey and like drinking beer and telling stories about hockey, and like that's always the conversation, right? He's coming in with like this weird stuff. Like,
well, and I remember, so it's funny you mentioned
story
the
about
aquarium.
Giraffes and aquarium and this and that and like whatever, man. Like, go away.
It's so funny you mentioned the aquarium because I remember that exact story because I was telling you and like 4 guys like, hey, I went to this local cigar bar in Frederick, got this cigar because someone else had a cigar. So I was like, where I enjoy going to grab mine, et cetera, et cetera. And then he goes, well, yeah, I go to aquarium and I saw this manta. And I remember looking at him and I was a little younger, like, Rigsby, how old? This is 10 plus years ago.
When you started playing with us, you were like 18.
And at 21, I had my first adult beverage. So this is about 21, 22. And I remember, and shocking to some people, I was probably a little more sarcastic back then than I am now. And I remember saying, no way. Who thought? And I remember just making everybody laugh because in the middle of his aquarium story, I just go, yeah, I get really good cigars at the Baltimore Aquarium too. Like I just totally just was like, get him in the middle. And it was awkward because he just intruded in the circle.
Bozo.
Like Bozo. I don't even remember now who gave him that nickname. It's going to drive me
bonkers. I don't remember either, but I could see his face.
Yeah,
see his face. Didn't he always he would have like a dress shirt, right?
And like gym shorts. He had the mullet dress code.
No. Like before the game, he had dress shirt and like pants on. And then after the game, we would be outside in the lot and he's wearing a dress shirt and like gym shorts or even like boxer briefs or whatever.
Yeah, because he had his jock on the one game, which was awkward. I mean, beyond awkward.
Yeah.
But I coined it mullet dress code because he had a dress shirt and gym shorts. He had business up top, party at the bottom. Yeah. It was just awkward. But
Bozo.
Yeah.
So this is episode 30, guys. This is a big deal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
30 straight weeks.
Big deal. 30 straight weeks since August.
Yep.
Going strong. We've had some interesting people on to talk to us. Had some interesting beers. But
no signs of slowing down.
No, we're going to keep going here.
We're still going.
We're going through the spring and summer, through next year. Let's keep going. obviously, right? Like, we have koozies, we have Patreon now, whatever. Okay. But I've noticed that we still have people listening to very old episodes. In fact, this last week, we had 3 plays on episode 1. We're on episode 30. We have 3 people that have listened to episode 1, and I can't for the life of me figure out why they listened to episode 1.
I would love to say something about that really quick. Whoever you are who's listening to episode 1, I want to talk directly to you, because there's been a joke on our group thread for the last 29 weeks. We want you to listen to every episode you want to, as many times as you want, and actually, listen to our back catalog. Technically, it's kind of nice saying that 30 straight weeks we have a back catalog. It's great.
Unlike the NHL.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
On their streaming service. Yeah.
Thank you. If you're listening to episode 1, you're a masochist for a few reasons. There were a lot of kinks we didn't work out in episode 1 because, as everybody knows, this was born out of the fact that we didn't see each other for a while due to the pandemic and whatnot. I was using a very garbage headset that was standard on a lot of, I won't say the fruit name of the phone provider, but you can go ahead and go from there.
A lot of what was recorded on John's track was his zipper.
Yeah, it was my
not the zipper on his lapel.
Yeah, the zipper on my collar,
not
my collar, not my other zipper, because I've been wearing gym shorts pretty much all year round now. It's great. Listen, maybe start like episode 6, 7, 8 when we really started to get our groove, right? Would everyone agree? But if you really want to keep listening to episode 1, go for it. You have a special place in our heart. Whoever
you think
keeps
it's the same
listening to
guy?
episode 1, I have sneaking suspicions.
It's the same person.
There's
over and over
something-
again.
It's one person that every once in a while they're like, I have to listen to episode 1.
Like the only thing I can think about,
watching
it's
a
like
train wreck. You
it's
can't
someone-
look away.
maybe it's someone who's doing like a CrossFit workout or a marathon run, and they're like, I need just hate to fuel me through this. I'm gonna listen to this.
Well,
Just do that.
well, a few of us are big David Goggins fans, and he
That's
just did
right.
he just did the 4x4x48 this last weekend.
Lex Friedman did it with him too.
So maybe while they were running their 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours, they were listening to episode 1.
Stay hard.
Stay hard.
Yeah, probably not. Stay hard. We're big David Goggins fans. Love it.
Needless to say, thanks everybody who's listened to us through 30 episodes. But you don't have to listen to episode 1. If you want to go back and listen to some, listen to like 3 on. Also, big shout out. We got our first patron over this week. Big shout out to Deborah, our first patron. We got a koozie. We got a pint glass coming your way.
Yeah.
We are so appreciative of you. Thank you so much.
I bet you get your koozie before any of us do.
Yeah. Aaron's hoarding them. Aaron's hoarding them.
Are you guys members on Patreon?
Bro, I'm on the show.
Yeah. Oh,
We kicked in on the initial investment.
You'll get your koozie.
I have a mailbox.
Oh, speaking of mailbox,
You
by
only
the way.
paid for the koozies, not for shipping.
Oh.
So episode 30 is a wrap. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks to Deborah again for being our first patron. We do have a koozie and a pint glass that are on their way to you soon. You probably will get them before Eric, John, and Daniel. We'll be back with another episode next week. Until then, be sure to join us on Discord at beersintheLot.com/Discord and find us on social media at Beers in the Lot. Thanks again. Until next week.